This is Shannonville Motorsport Park near Belleville, Ontario, and the Kawasaki Superbike Challenge for the Casco Cup. Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Gonzalez, and welcome to round number 3 of our 6-race series to decide the Canadian Superbike champion. Today's event is at the multi-purpose racing facility here at Shannonville Motorsport Park on the 4-kilometer road course. With me, Craig Hill of Castrol. And Craig, we've really got a top lineup of Superbike riders for our feature race.
Oh, for sure, Pat. We probably got the best pro rider lineup since our World Superbike round at Mosport Park this year. And I guess the first guy we got to mention is the return of our current reigning Canadian champion, Steve Crevier. He's left Yoshimura, U.S., feeling that he wasn't getting enough competitive riding down in the States, not enough turns on the bike. So he's back here trying to retain his Canadian championship, and here's a kid who's really got his work cut out for him now.
Well, riding the Kawasaki will be a brand new experience for Steve Crevier, who last year took a Yamaha to the #1 plate, raced on a Suzuki in the United States. And I asked crew member Dave Murphy what special setup they had to do on the bike for Steve Crevier.
It's quite nice. He's been helping us. He knows the advanced front end that we do have. We're having little problems with the rear end setting up on it because we're starting to generate a lot of power. So he seems to be helping us quite a bit because working with the Yoshimura Suzukis, they have the nice front ends, and we're fortunate enough to have the same, and he's been helping us out quite a bit with it.
Belleville Kawasaki team manager Kip Harrison is confident that Crevier is the rider to really give this machine a strong showing here at Shannonville.
Oh, I'm certain that Crevier is going to give Kawasaki a real shot here in Canada, Pat. But also back this weekend is our 1988 champion, Ruben McMurder, riding his Action Accessories Honda RC30. Ruben had a tremendous get-off at Mosport during the World Championship round, as you know. He missed the second round at Shannonville. But, you know, Pat, you talked to him earlier, and here's a guy that's still confident about winning this series this year.
Oh, it's certainly going to be difficult, but, you know, if history repeats itself as it has, you know, certainly the last number of years, well, I was leading the series by a great deal in '88, and I ended up beating Gary Goodfellow in the end by 1 point after crashing at this event. So that proves that anything can happen, and Michel crashed once this weekend already. There's a lot of other variables involved this weekend that he's going to have to deal with, so anything's possible. I don't think it's over till the last race is finished and all the points are added up.
The man that both Steve Crevier and Ruben McMurder are chasing is number 11, Michel Mercier. And Craig, what a start he has had to this season.
Well, Michel is riding with a lot of renewed confidence this year, Pat, and he sure showed it. You know, he finished 4th amongst the world's best at the World Superbike round at Mosport. He came right back, he won San Air, and right after that he won one at Shannonville. So here's a guy that's got the best chance of all out there today. I don't like to second guess this man, but I've never seen him ride better than he is this year.
Well, we have highlights of Mercier's win at Shannonville, Nova Scotia, a cool, cloudy, rainy weekend. Mercier, number 11, and his teammate Pascal Picot run 1-2 in the early going, with Jacques Gannett, number 999, running in 3rd, as Yamahas ran 1-2-3 as they did at the season opener at San Air. But on lap number 10, Lindley Clark crashed his Kawasaki in the roller coaster. That brought out a red flag and stopped the race. It was deemed official, and Mercier had won his 2nd National Superbike race of the year. That win by Mercier gave him a commanding 34-point total. And Michel also won the qualifying heat race here yesterday, setting a new Superbike track record at Shannonville. Mercier's total now stands at 36, with his teammate Pascal Picot in 2nd with 24. Jacques Gannett 3rd at 20. Michael Taylor is tied with Benoit Pilot for 4th with 10. Then it's Ruben McMurder, 8 points. Lindley Clark, 6. Tommy Douglas, Yves Brisson, and Jeff Gaynor, who has taken over the Miguel Duhamel Suzuki Canada ride, each have 4. John Cornwell has 3, Clyde McDonald 2, and Mike Griffiths has 1 Canadian Superbike Championship point.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, Pat, this is going to be a tremendously hot feature shootout here today for several reasons. Number one, we've got 3 or 4 riders who desperately need a win here today in order to stay in contention. And although the weather for the folks up there and the fans and you and I, it's absolutely great. But for the riders with 15 pounds of leathers on, a big helmet, and riding a bike weighing 350 pounds with 150 horsepower, it's going to be tough riding out there, and anybody could win this one today.
We've got 2 outstanding motorcycle road races coming up for you. First, we'll have the Pro 600 production final, where Pascal Picot, who won the season opener at San Air, has had nothing but bad luck. He blew up his motorcycle at Shannonville, and yesterday, in the qualifying heat, he crashed on the opening lap. He will have to start in the back row, and he'll have a tough job getting to the front. And then a little later on, we'll have round number 3. of the Castrol Canadian Superbike Challenge. The Superbike feature should be just a tremendous race. We'll be right back. Shannonville Motorsport Park, in our first race, the Pro 600 production final. The riders have completed their warm-up lap and are on the starting grid, ready to go. The rider to watch, of course, will be Pascal Picot. He'll be starting in the back. He'll try to make a quick charge to the front. This will be a very, very competitive race. Now here's Craig Hill with the starting grid.
On row 1 is the winner of yesterday's heat race, John Ramsey. Then it's Brisson, Royer, and Tom Douglas. Row 2 has Wilson, Johnson, and Mark Kowalski. Row 3 has Wykes, McKinley, Dave Klassen, and Don Monroe.
Monroe, part of the strong Nova Scotia contingent in this race. Row 4, Taylor, McDonald, and Downey. Row number 5, Phil Whetstone, Harris. There's Pascal Picot starting in the back row. And outside of him, Mark Green, another Nova Scotia rider, part of the capacity crowd here at Shannonville as the riders are away, heading to turn number 1. Ramsey from the outside, but it'll be 85, Denny Royer on the Yamaha, who will grab the lead right in the middle of the pack. There's the 21 machine of Pascal Picot. He's already passed about 6 or 7 riders, Craig.
Well, Pat, we expected this guy to be quick. He's starting from the back, but I didn't expect to see him halfway up the pack already.
85, Denny Royer, your leader, closely followed by the number 2 machine of Tommy Douglas. Then it's 99, John Ramsey, as they come into the Sterling Moss Carousel here at Shannonville. 85, Royer, a former amateur champion who continues to climb the ladder here in 600 production racing, leading as they head through turn number 5. And Royer pulling out a few bike lengths on Tommy Douglas, number 2. But Douglas coming under pressure from 99, John Ramsey on the Honda. John with a great run in qualifying yesterday. There's 13, Brisson back and forth, and the 16 machine of Peter Wilson runs up in the 5th place spot. Riders still tightly bunched on this opening lap. 85, Denny Royer leads the way as the rest of the riders follow in tow. Ramsey, 99 on the inside of Douglas, pulls up alongside, and Johnny Ramsey will take over 2nd place as they go through turn number 9 of the S's. Into the hairpin, it's 85 Royer, 99 Ramsey, now your 2nd place rider, in 13, Yves Brisson. Just moved inside of Douglas to push Tommy Douglas back to 4th as they shuffle the deck down the back straightaway. 85 Royer, your leader, 99 Ramsey, and now Douglas comes right back on that number 2 Yamaha to take over the 3rd place position. 13, Brisson is 4th. Then the 14 machine of Steve Wykes up in a 5th. Here's Wykes looking for a pass into Allen's corner, but Brisson will hold him off. Some incredibly close racing on this opening lap, Craig.
Oh, you bet, Pat. And you know, today being particularly hot, what they have to watch later in the races is that they don't overheat their tires too much, because, you know, today they could go away on them awfully easily.
21, Pascal Picot is the fastest rider on the racetrack. He continues to charge up through the top 10. He just made the pass on the 88 machine of Dan Johnson, the Kawasaki rider. As we look at the leader, 85, Denny Royer, 2 completely different lines through that right-hand turn 3. Ramsey going very, very wide. Royer a little neater, more tucked in on the inside.
Well, that might be so, but you got to remember, Pat, John's a very, very experienced pro rider, and I think what John's trying to do is keep his RPMs up. That way he gets a little bit more drive off the corners. He's a smart rider, and you can bet that he's going to be around at the end of this race.
We look at the charge to the front by 21, Pascal Picot. He certainly has the RPMs up as Picot has moved up into the 6th place position. A tremendous run on that Guy Motorsport-sponsored Yamaha machine. Up front, it's still 85, Denny Royer, followed by the 99 machine of John Ramsey. And here's 21, Picot, all over Mark Kowalski. On the short shoot, as they come into turn number 9 of the S's, it's 85, Royer, and he is starting to feel the pressure from Johnny Ramsey, a very experienced production rider. Ramsey in tow as they head out onto the back straightaway. Royer made the quick check over the left shoulder. Ramsey is right there, but he'll not be able to catch that Yamaha down the straightaway. But just a couple of bike lengths separating these 2 riders in a tremendous battle here in our Pro 600 Production National Final. Part of the crowd here at Shannonville seeing an outstanding race. Ramsey still putting the pressure on Royer as 21, Picot continues his charge. It's strictly a 2-rider race at the moment as Ramsey tries to pull up alongside of Royer as they went through turn number 2. Now out of that right-hander at 3 again. Ramsey swinging wide. John Ramsey taking completely different lines, Craig, as you're mentioning earlier.
Well, you just watch the drive he gets off this corner, Pat. He's got his RPMs up, and he's going to come right in on Royer. just about now. You see, he's right up on his back wheel, so he's playing a smart race out there. Also, it's not quite as hard on his tires being out there. Keeps him a little cooler.
Tommy Douglas, number 2, running back in that 4th place position. Then it's 21 Picot in 5th. So Picot has really put a charge to the front. Things starting to heat up for the lead. Ramsey is all over Royer. 13 Brisson in 3rd. Number 2 Douglas 4th, and 21 Picot 5th. Here's Ramsey. He pulls up alongside as they come into the left-hander at turn 9 of the S's, and Ramsey has taken the lead. A beautiful pass by Johnny Ramsey of Sydney, Nova Scotia, as he puts his Honda CBR 600 out into the lead. Royer, the quick check over the left shoulder. There's 13 Brisson in 3rd, and now number 2 Tommy Douglas feeling the pressure from 21 Picot on the outside. Pascal Picot will move up to 4th. Shuffling Tommy Douglas, one of last year's championship contenders, back into 5th. Tommy has not had as good a year here in 1990. Picot hard braking into Allen's corner, lifting the rear wheel on that Yamaha FZR 600. He is just pushing this little 600cc machine at the limit.
Well, that's his riding style, Pat. He's a very good rider, and he's exciting to watch. And there are the standings with John Ramsey on the Honda in 1st, followed by Royer, Brisson, Picot, and Tom Douglas. Then it's Steve Wykes, Kowalski, Johnson, Wilson, and Dave Klassen. 7 out of the top 10 Pro 600 bikes are Yamahas, but the lead rider, Ramsey, is on a Honda. And, Pat, what do you think about that?
Well, Craig, before the start of the season, everybody figured it would be a Yamaha that would win this championship. But I tell you, Honda's new CBR 600 is certainly the equal to Yamaha's 600cc machine. And we're seeing a great battle in behind. 99 John Ramsey for 2nd. 85 Denny Royer on a Yamaha, just holding off 21 Pascal Picot as he comes into 3rd. Number 13 Yves Brisson on a Honda runs back in the 4th place position. Part of the crowd on their feet, and now 21 Picot has moved up into 2nd. So Picot continues his miraculous run to the front after starting on the back row. Farther back, a battle here between a couple of Honda riders. 61 Dwight McKinley from Winnipeg, Manitoba, holding off Nova Scotia rider 121 Don Monroe. That is the race for 14th place. Johnny Ramsey, 99, number 21, Pascal Picot. And Craig, this would be certainly a major upset for Picot to start all the way in the back row and catch Ramsey as we wind it down in this race. And down the back straightaway, Picot is to within just a couple of bike lengths. It's Honda versus Yamaha, a showdown here at Shannonville in 600cc production racing.
Well, you can see this kid Picot, Pat. He's all over him like a cheap suit now. He's leaning in there, and, you know, oh, there he went down. I said earlier that the kid was overheating his tires. I'm certain that that's what happened. He low-sided the bike, and he's out of it. It's a shame, but he's out, Pat.
Picot trying to pick up that machine, but we're on the last lap now. Johnny Ramsey, your leader, going through. 13 Brisson in 2nd. 85 Royer runs 3rd. Here's Johnny Ramsey, just 1 corner to go. The checkered flag is out, and Sydney, Nova Scotia's John Ramsey takes the checkered flag on the Honda for the victory. Number 13 Yves Brisson right behind. A great run here for Johnny Ramsey starting from the pole.
And it's final. John Ramsey takes the win, followed by Brisson, Royer, Douglas, and Steve Wykes. Then in 6th, it's Kowalski with Wilson, Johnson, Klassen, and Green rounding out the top 10.
Next up, it's the Kawasaki Superbike Challenge for the Castrol Cup as Mercier goes for win number 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Shannonville Motorsport Park and the Kawasaki Superbike Challenge for the Castrol Cup. The riders have completed their warm-up laps and are moving into position on the starting grid. The question is, can anybody beat Michel Mercier? The 2 riders in the 2nd row perhaps have got a good shot. Ruben McMurder, 24, and Steve Crevier. The other concern here, of course, is the intense heat. It is well over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, very hot and humid. Now here's Craig Hill with the starting grid.
And on the pole, after setting a new lap record, is Michel Mercier, the 1987 Superbike champion. Next to him is the young, sensational Pascal Picot, and he's still looking for his first Superbike win. Number 999, Jacques Jet Gannett, was 3rd in our last 2 events and is looking to improve his finish here. Completing the front row is Jeff Gaynor, who has taken over the Miguel Duhamel Suzuki Canada entry while Miguel is in Japan.
Row number 2, Ruben McMurder, Steve Crevier, and John Ramsey. Row 3, Taylor, Pilon, Lindley Clark, and Mike Griffiths. Row number 4 has Darren Knight, Clyde McDonald, and Mike Marcelli. In row number 5, it's Tommy Douglas, Eric Schwindel, Richard Nelson, and the veteran Derek Medaglia. Row number 6 has Rod Lieb, Dwight McKinley, and the veteran Mike Walsh. And back in row 7, Eve Bresaw, Mark Kowalski, Chuck Downey, and John Cornwell, who had problems yesterday in the qualifier. Cornwell on the Alex Mays 2 and Suzuki. There's your front row. Riders revving up the 750cc Superbikes. 3 Yamahas, 1 Suzuki across the front row as the riders charge to turn 1. Picot with the front wheel in the air, and it's 11, Michel Mercier, who grabs the lead. Here's Gaynor and Gannett side by side out of turn 1, and Gannett will hold on to that third-place spot as they go up the straightaway to turn 2. Now you're on board with Benoit Pilot, the Sony Handycam, giving us these fabulous pictures from the Laval Moto-sponsored Yamaha. Pilot runs back in the 6th place position, just ahead of him. You can see the front running 5 as we stare at the rear tire on the Suzuki of Jeff Gaynor. Pilot now trying to move to the outside as they clear the carousel here at Shannonville. There's your leader, 11, Michel Mercier, followed closely by the number 21 machine of Pascal Picot. Remember, Picot is just 20 years of age. The nickname, the Granby Flyer, certainly fitting. Picot has been flying since the opening round at Saint-Air, and right now he runs in the tire tracks of his mentor and much older coach, Michel Mercier. Again, the onboard Sony Handycam giving us these fabulous pictures of the racing action early. Jeff Gaynor holding on to that 5th place position, but Benoit Pilot is all over him. Just ahead of Gannett, you can see the Kawasaki of Steve Crevier, number 1. The defending champion, as they head down the back straightaway for the first time. It's 11, Mercier, your leader. 21, Picot in 2nd. 999, Gannett 3rd. Here's 24, McMurder moving up to make a move. Ruben running back in 7th. Crevier, number 1, on the Kawasaki, giving it a good run. This is Steve's very first Superbike race in Canada this year after beginning the 1990 campaign in the United States. The riders on the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. There's Pilot in 6th. McMurder, number 24, up into 7th as the rest of the field comes through. And Craig, some outstanding racing here on this opening lap.
We've come to expect good racing in this series, Pat. And a big slide by Michel. He's pushing real early on. And there's the onboard Sony Handycam. And Ruben McMurder slides by into 6th spot. What a great shot from that bike.
Benoit Pilot being shuffled back into 7th. The story here at Shannonville, the same that it was at Saint-Air and Shubenacadie. The 2 fast Yamaha OW01 750s running 1-2. Michel Mercier, 11, the 37-year-old veteran, the 2-time champion. Holding off number 21, one of the rising stars in Canadian road racing, Pascal Picot. And on the back straightaway, Mercier bobbled for just a moment. Picot puts the front wheel in the air, and here's that battle going on for 3rd place.
The heat must be really playing tricks with these wide, slick tires on these Superbikes. Both Crevier and McMurder almost lost it coming onto the back straight, Pat.
Craig, there you can see the heat waves coming off the pavement on the back straightaway. Number 24, Ruben McMurder on the Honda RC30 being shuffled back into 7th as Johnny Ramsey picks up the 6th place spot. There are your standings. Mercier, Picot, Gannett, Gaynor, and Crevier rounding out the top 5. Then it's Ramsey, McMurder, Pilot, Lindley Clark back in action after his crash. And then it is Tommy Douglas. There's veteran and former top rider Norm Murphy waving on the 2 Kawasaki riders, Crevier and Clark, as this battle for 3rd place now really starting to heat up. Jacques Gannett, 999 on the Yamaha, coming under pressure from number 228, Jeff Gaynor, on the Suzuki Canada machine.
And he's making a big pass into 3rd spot there, Pat. You know, Gaynor's riding with much more confidence since the last race at Atlantic Motorsport Park, and I asked him earlier what he'd learned since then.
Well, our team, myself and Mike Crompton, George Morin, and Bruce McCarr from Suzuki, we're starting to mend together, mesh together, and learn each other and how we work together a lot better, so that our confidence level is up, and we are at the home track, which helps a lot.
Well, there's a rider who's going to need some help. Pascal Picot is overshot turn 2. He stays up on the motorcycle. He will lose a couple of positions. There you could see Jeff Gaynor going through into 2nd place. Picot will get back on the racetrack. 999. Gannett takes over 3rd, so Picot is 4th.
And that's our leader, Mercier, on the number 11 Yamaha. And Pat, look how far that he's pulled out in front of the 2nd place man, Gaynor. Jeff has certainly impressed me with his maturity and heads-up riding style. This will be a good booster for the Suzuki Canada team if he can hold on to that 2nd spot.
There's the battle for third into the hairpin. Jacques Gannett on the green Yamaha. Right behind him, 21. Picot in fourth. And number 24, Ruben McMurder has crashed. A tough break for Ruben as he favors that ankle. And we'll be back with more of the Kawasaki Superbike Challenge for the Castro Cup in a moment.
Shannonville, and round number 3 of our National Superbike Series for the Castro Cup. I'm Craig Hill along with Pat Gonzalez. And number 11, Michel Mercier, has led this one right from the start and set a new outright lap record in the process.
There's the battle for third place out of turn 1. Pascal Picot is all over Jacques Gannett as they go into turn number 2. Picot comes up the inside, late braking to take over that third place position. Gannett battling back on the inside, but Pascal Picot, after running off the racetrack, has moved back up into third, and he gets into a big slide as he got on the power on that Yamaha OW01. We're on the last lap. Michel Mercier still your leader. Jeff Gaynor, 2:28 in second, as we watch this battle for third place between the two Yamaha riders, number 21 Picot and number 999 Gannett.
Oh, what an exciting rider that kid is, Pat. He's really outstanding. There's number 99, John Ramsey, in 6th, followed by our onboard camera bike, number 163, ridden by Benoit Pilon in 7th.
Michel Mercier, number 11, loses the front end. He slides off the racetrack. Mercier still hanging onto the motorcycle. He runs over there trying to pick it up to get it restarted, motioning to one of the corner workers to give him a push, but Mercier has crashed. Here's your new leader, 2:28, Jeff Gaynor, in heavy traffic as he comes into turn 11 at the end of the back straightaway. Number 21, Pascal Picot, is right behind. Jeff Gaynor slicing around number 94. That is Mike Marcelli coming up on 106, Clyde McDonald. Here's 21 Picot, and he gets boxed in by Marcelli. The checkered flag will be out. Jeff Gaynor, number 228, your leader. The checkered flag is out, and he wins it. 21 Picot will finish in second. What a dramatic turn of events late in the race here at Shannonville. Jeff Gaynor, the winner. Picot gets up there to finish second.
And it's official. Jeff Gaynor of Mississauga scores a dream win in his second only Superbike ride, just edging out second place Pascal Picot and Gannett third. Then it's Steve Crevier making an impressive return to the Canadian Series, followed by 5th place Pilon. That's his best finish so far. 6th is Tom Douglas with Ramsey, Clark, Griffins, and Brisson rounding out the top 10. And here's Pat.
28 on the Suzuki, Jeff Gaynor.
And what a happy winner. And that's Mr. Kirk Hattori, the president of Canadian Kawasaki, along with Royce Baker, the national sales manager, with the presentation. And here's a very wet Pat Gonzalez.
Well, that's it from Shannonville Motorsport Park. Jeff Gaynor, the winner of round 3 of the Castro Superbike Championships. Pascal Picot second, Jacques Gannett third. For Craig Hill, I'm Pat Gonzalez. We'll see you next from Race City Speedway in Calgary.